If I had to title the message this morning, I would title it Ministers of Reconciliation. Comes out of of 2 Corinthians 5, and we're just going to read through a few of these verses. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come. All this is from God, who through Christ reconciled us to himself and gave us the ministry of reconciliation. He has given that to us. We just go over that again. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. And as I opened the verse for today this morning, I'm like, hey, this fits in again. It says, I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. I will remove from you your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh, give you a new heart. I'm like, that's exactly what I'm supposed to talk about this morning. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come. All this is from God, who through Christ reconciled us to himself and gave us the ministry of reconciliation. We know that back in the garden, sin separated us from God. And now we have this message, we have this hope, we have this truth that we could actually be reconciled back to God. And it explains it a bit in the next few verses. It says, that is, in Christ, God was reconciling the world to himself, not counting their trespasses against them. Phil, I've never heard a message on this, on not counting their trespasses against them. Growing up, I thought that's what God did. So I don't know, maybe you could think about doing a little, clue me in, I'll watch the message. Not counting their trespasses against them. And then it says, and entrusting to us the ministry of reconciliation. Therefore, we are ambassadors for Christ, God making his appeal through us. We implore you, or we beg you on behalf of Christ, be reconciled to God. God's plan of reconciliation, of reconciling people back to him, is dependent on you and me. We are his plan to take this message of the gospel, this message that we can trade in our stony heart for a new heart. It's on us. We are his ambassadors. I don't know what your pulpit is. Every one of us have one. Every one of us is called to this ministry, this message of reconciliation. What's the pulpit? You know, Phil comes up here and he preaches across his pulpit each Sunday. But what's the pulpit that you have? You might work in an auto parts store. You might be in construction. Maybe you're a social worker or work at the post office or work in retail. Every one of those are pulpits. Every one of those are opportunities, are places that God has put you as an ambassador of his kingdom. We don't belong to this kingdom. We belong to his kingdom, and he's placed us in different, I think, strategically placed us in different places so that we can share the gospel. Even in a pregnancy center, right? Amazing meeting people in some of the most desperate, hopeless places of their life, and we can be right there to share the gospel with them. We are an ambassador of the kingdom of heaven to earth, and we have different opportunities, different places that we can share his gospel. It says, we beg you, we implore you, or we beg you on behalf of Christ, be reconciled to God. And here's the message of the gospel, I think, as like boil it down, it says, for our sakes, he, God, made him Jesus, to be sin who knew no sin, so that in him we might become the righteousness of God. That is a miracle. That's incredible. When I read that verse, often I think of I don't know, this is a bit of a weird example, but I think, what if we had Elon Musk standing up here and then I'm standing over here, somebody would come up and say, here's what we're going to do this morning. We're going to take Elon Musk's bank account and give it to Arlynn. We're going to take Arlynn's bank account and give it to Elon Musk. Like, do you think that would change my life? New Horizons and Life First would be fully funded, right? I know for one thing, it would change Elon Musk's life. We have Jesus standing here, pure, spotless, never did anything wrong. Jesus, Son of God, born of a virgin, perfection. And we have Arlynn over here and all of his mess. Prideful, self-sufficient, want to fix everything. And God says, here's what we're going to do. By faith, if Arlynn has the faith that this can work, we're going to take his sin, all that pride, all that self-sufficient, that immorality, that prone to evil, we're going to take that and we're going to put it on Christ. And we're going to take the righteousness of Christ and put it on Arlynn. And when God looks down and sees me, and when God looks down and sees Derek, that murderer coming up out of the water from baptism, he sees the righteousness of Christ. And somehow for too many years, it was kind of like pray and ask Jesus to come into my heart and then try to be good enough, you know? No, it's by faith. By faith, we are righteous. We are clothed in his righteousness. I'm not quite good enough for that. That's the first start, is that I'm not good enough for that. I'm a mess. I need God to come and do a work in my life. And by faith, I can accept this message. I can accept this gift of his righteousness. If we go back a number of verses before this, Paul says, if I'm out of my mind, if I'm acting crazy, it's because of this. This is nuts. For Paul, he was a part of persecuting and killing Christians. But as he accepted Christ into his life, he realized that when God looks at him, he sees the righteousness of Christ. He says, if I'm acting crazy, it's because of this. If I'm in my right mind, it's for you guys. Like this is amazing. I'll try to be mature or whatever. This is an amazing reality. And this morning, I know the message is ministry of reconciliation, or ministers of reconciliation. But maybe this morning you're here and you've never really seen it that way. It was kind of like you were thinking, well, I prayed the sinner's prayer and I'm just trying to be good enough. You didn't realize that, like, Jesus paid it all. You are righteous in his eyes by faith. That is an amazing message. And if it's just kind of like, oh wow, I didn't think about, I just invite you to just fall into that. Like the righteousness of Christ. Maybe you have never accepted Christ into your life. Maybe I didn't quite understand it that way. You mean I can just surrender my life, give my life to the Lord, and I get his righteousness? Today is the day of salvation. Today is the day for you as well. But as ministers of reconciliation, this is the message that we take to the world. No matter what you've done. That's some of our, at New Horizons, we have a number of processes or milestones that we go through in a relationship. It starts with connection. We meet people right where they're at. Doesn't matter what they've done, doesn't matter who they are, doesn't matter how they look. We make a connection with them. And next we give a message of hope. Your situation does not have to define you. Doesn't define you. God will meet you right where you're at. And in that place, that message of hope, when they say yes, then we have spiritual healing. When we have spiritual healing, we have a transformed life. So as we connect with people in the world, as we relate with them, as we step up to our pulpit of an auto parts store, step up to our pulpit of a tool belt and a hammer, when we get there, that we would understand that we have a message of hope that they need, we are ministers of reconciliation. He has given us the ministry of reconciliation. And isn't it, after all that Jesus has done for us, it's just what makes sense, that we would be fully just all in for the Lord. What would your life be like without Jesus? And then maybe even to ask ourselves this question: what could their life be? What could their life be with Jesus? What if they would say yes? What if I would have that privilege of just saying, hey, I know life is crazy. You've done a lot of bad things or whatever, but God forgives you. We remember at one of our Bible studies, one of the ladies, she just got out of prison. We're talking about forgiveness, and she sat there all night looking at the table and shaking her head every once in a while. And afterwards, a few of us got off to the side, and we said, what's going on? And she said, I have had 8 abortions, and God will never forgive me for that. No wonder she has addiction problems. No wonder she has domestic violence, in and out of jail. We were like, no, God can and does forgive you for that. So what are those places? Those places you can stand up to your pulpit and share that message of forgiveness and cleansing and identity in Christ. Turn it over to you.